Lab 6, Part 5. This is fun, and it's easy if somebody was showing you. If you're reading it all, like I showed you in the class, it looks like a lot, but it's actually not. So let's say that you have Lab 5, the basic patch, patched. The only part of that I'm going to put in here is I'm going to show you that one of the things you were doing was taking the gate out into one of these malts, whichever one, and then you were coming from the malt into the envelope generator for the filter and also the one for the VCA. Okay, so the first part of this, when you're going to start getting gates, first of all, you need to make sure that it was droning up until now, and you need to turn down the initial gain of the VCA and turn up the control level from the envelope generator, and then play some notes on the keyboard so that it sounds like a normal synth voice. So you'll probably want to bring the frequency control on the filter down a little bit and bring the FM control so some of the envelope generator for the filter is modulating it so it's not droning. Here's the point, okay? You want it to be making no sound until you hit a key or soon when you start the sequencer. Okay, so that's part one. Then let's say that you've got Lab 5 all patched, and I'm just not showing you the cables except for this one. All you do for part one is this. Instead of taking the gate out from the MIDI interface, you take the gate out from the oscillator out of the oscillator. Now, there shouldn't be any sound. You hit start on the 960, and all of a sudden you'll hear it playing. It'll be sending gates. You may have to adjust the frequency and the FM control, which is the attenuator for the envelope generator, and the control level here to make it sound the way you want. So after you hear that, then all you have to do is move this to the stage 1 gate output. So whereas before it would have been doing something like do, 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 now it'll change and go do 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 do. So you may need to open up the release settings on the envelopes so that they sound long enough when you're only sending a gate once every 8 steps. Make sense? Okay, now if you've turned the release on the envelopes up, turn them back down so that they sounded about like it did when you had that there. And all you do is move it from here to here. This will come, it's a logical OR is what it's called. This is going to combine gates. So now take stage 1 gate output and plug it into any jack in this row. And then take any 2 more, or 3. You can do more than 2 if you want, but you're only required to do a total of 3. Stage 1 needs to be there or it'll drive you crazy. So make sure stage 1, and then any 2 other outs. So let's say you take this one. And I don't care, whatever. And let's say you take this one. So it will combine these gates, send them out here, and trigger your envelope generators. Pretty cool, huh? Now for the next part, you can leave these stage outputs coming into this interface. All you do is take this and instead you plug it into the gate output of the quantizer channel you're using. Now, just so you know, it says gate out on the panel, but it's not a gate. It's a 5 millisecond trigger. So it will probably not sound, it might just go tick, 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 tick. You might not hear the notes. So what you'll need to do is play with the envelope generators, both for the filter and VCA, with the decay time and the release time when you're using the trigger out from the quantizer. Okay, so now at this point, hit stop on the sequencer and all sound should stop, so it's not droning. So what you're going to do now is you're going to do all of that you just did. You're going to kick DP into record and do it all, but just let me show you something because this can make your life easier. You get ready to record, and before you do, put this back over to oscillator, okay? Now, if you put DP into record and hit play, you're then, in order to get stage 1 out to come down here, you're going to have to unplug this cable. So what I recommend you do before you start recording is just take this cable and just let it dangle loose, or plug it into an unused stage output. So now what you will do is, don't do it yet, but all you'll do is hit record, then hit start on this. You might want to adjust the filters and the envelope generators so it's playing a sequence. Let it play, a few times so I can hear you did it. Then while it's still recording, you take this out and plug it into gate 1. And so it'll sound like this. It'll go tick, 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 like that. Then while it's still recording, put this here and restore the output that's coming out of stage 1. Now it'll go dun, 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 dun. Or these two gates may combine and sound like one. So it may go dun, 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 dun. You'll see. You'll find out. Then take this up here while it's still recording into the gate out of the quantizer. Adjust the envelope generators so it works. And now here's the last thing. At this point, you can be done, but if you want, you can mess around with this. The B row is exactly the same as the A row. So you can use the B row for any of the stage outputs, and the difference is you have a gate on command. So whatever tempo this is going at, each of these gates will be 90% duty cycle. So if it was taking 8 seconds, right, to go 1001, 1002, 1003, this would be on for 90% of 1 second and then off. This will actually let you make that shorter or longer selectively for individual ones. So mess around with it if you want. There's part 5.